Hello and welcome to our 53rd session. And in this session, we are going to improve our Clicky Crates game and make it still better, adding some more features. Some of the features that we are going to add in this session are, the first thing is, we are going to add lives. When you start playing the game, the life count will be 3, but as good object touches the sensor, it becomes 3, 2, 1, and only when the life becomes 0, then we are going to click on the restart button. Click on the restart button and you can restart the game. The second feature we are going to add is the volume control. We are going to add a background music, and using this volume control, see, the user can control the background volume and he can play the game. Now the third condition is, as you are playing, if you press P on your keyboard, the entire game pauses, and if you again press P, the game continues to play. I will again press P and it is going to pass. Adding lives, adding a volume control with background music, and adding a pause button is what we are going to achieve in this session. As usual, let us start by launching Unity Hub. Now coming to projects, and you can continue with this UI_prototype06 project which we had done in our previous session. However, if you doesn't have this project, do not worry. Come into the new project and in the template select SRP Universal 3D, and here in the project name I am going to now call this as UI_prototype7, and in eUnity project click on the create project. As Unity is getting loaded into the memory, come to your YouTube video page or the e-learning page. If you scroll down in the description, if you click on more, you are provided with a Patreon link. Click on this link. This will open the Junior Programmer Series page. Scroll down. You are provided with 53 Clicky Crates Advanced Challenge Start.unity package file. Click on this to download it. If you are actually using the previous session project and if you are building from it, then you can download this sound.zip file, unzip it and place this folder in your project assets folder. If required, download satvik_layout.wlt file. Once Unity is launched, come into the project panel, select this Readme file, come into the inspector and click on remove Readme asset, and in the confirmation box click on proceed. We don't need this input system_actions file also. Right click and choose delete, and in the confirmation window click on delete. If your screen layout does not match the layout that you are seeing on this video, then come to the top right corner and in this panel drop down, choose Satvik panel. If Satvik is not available here, go to load layout from file, browse to the download folder and select the downloaded satvik_layout.wlt file and click on open. Now come into the project window, asset, right click, choose import package, custom package, select the 53 Clicky Crates Advanced Challenges Unity package, click on open. Now in the import Unity package dialog box, see that all is selected and click on import. Once it is imported, come into the assets, open scenes and double click UI_prototype to open this scene. Select this sample scene, right click and choose delete, and in the confirmation box click on delete. In the game view, come to this free aspect, click on it and set it to full HD 1920 x 1080. I will select any of the object in the hierarchy and come into the inspector. When we start a new project and import the asset, the tag and layers will not be imported. I will come into the layer, click on this default drop down, click on add layer, and in user layer 3, I am going to call this as target layer and press enter. Now come into the hierarchy and select the GameManager and see that in target layer is selected. So come into the project panel, open my prefab, select bad one with shift press, select till this good 3, all these 5 components, and see that the layer is set to target layer. Now let us first add lives. I will come into the hierarchy, come into this UI canvas, open this, and already we have this core text placed on the left hand side of our screen. I will select this core text and duplicate it, press Ctrl D or right click and choose duplicate, press F2, and I am now going to call this as live text. And with this live text selected, come into the inspector and in the text input, I will change it to lives : I will come into this align box, alt click and I will align it to the right end. I am going to move it along the y-axis by minus 100 units. If you take score text, I had moved it along x by 237 units, and live text I will move it by minus 237.3 units so that it is almost placed equally. We are going to control this live through our script GameManager. So I will come into the script, select GameManager, double click to open this. If it asks to trust the author, click on yes, I trust the author. In our previous session, we had declared a text mesh pro UGUI type of variable for score text. I will come after this score text, press enter, add two forward slashes, variable to hold the text mesh pro component for the live. Press enter, and this one I will keep it public, and the type of variable is text mesh pro UGUI. We are using text mesh pro UGUI because it is a UI text component. Then I will press space, and I am going to call this as live text and end it with semicolon. I will also declare a private integer type of variable, and I will call this as live, and I will end it with semicolon. For this lives to be updated, I am now going to create my own method. So I will just scroll down completely to the bottom, and after this start game, I am going to come below this and press enter twice, and I am going to declare a new public void UpdateLives method, add open close bracket, and here I am going to add a parameter. It is of the type integer, and I am going to call this as lives to add, and I will come out of this close bracket, press enter, add open close flower bracket, and inside this code block, first I am going to call my lives variable, and I will set its value plus equal to, and I will add this lives to add value to my lives variable. I will call my live text component, period, in that I will call the text component, and it will be equal to, I will add inverted comma, inside that I will declare lives, add a space, and I will come out of the inverted comma, add plus, and I am going to call the lives variable and end it with semicolon. And finally, as the lives are going to get decreased, I will check for a condition. If I will add open close bracket, and here I am going to declare if lives is less than or equal to 0. When lives become less than or equal to 0, I will press enter, add open close flower bracket, and in this I will press an enter, and I will call my GameOver function. I will add open close bracket and end it with semicolon. I will set my lives value to be equal to 0, so that sometimes it may go to -1 or -2. As soon as the game starts, that is here in the start game, see, we had set the score value to 0, and similarly as soon as the game starts, I will set the lives value equal to 3. Below the score text, I will call lives text, period text. This will be equal to, in inverted comma, lives colon space, and after this plus, and I will call lives and end it with semicolon. I will go to file, and I am going to save my GameManager file. We have to call this UpdateLives. Where are we going to call this method? We are going to come into Targets.cs file, and if you scroll down, we had called this OnTriggerEnter function, and when it actually collides with an object with the tag sensor, we had asked or called for this game over here. I am now going to call here UpdateLives, add open close bracket, and inside this I will add the value -1, because every time it comes and hits the sensor, the value of my lives should decrease by 1, and I will end it with semicolon. Come to file, save this target.cs file also, come back to Unity, allow the script to compile, come to the game manager, and now you have lives text here. So I will come here into my UI canvas, drag my lives text component and attach it to this lives text here. If I go to file, save it, and if I execute the game and if I check it, so I select any one of them. When I click on easy, you can see initially life is 3, and as the game runs, now 1 touched the sensor, it became 2, then it becomes 1, and then it became 0, and when lives become 0, you see the game over symbol. And now I can click restart and come back. I am going to stop the playback. Next, we will now add a volume control to control our background music. I will come into the title screen, open this. You already have this title's text. I will press Ctrl D or right click and choose duplicate. Press F2 and I will call this as volume text. I will come into text input here and type volume. I will reduce its size to 48 and I will set its color to black. In this rect transform, alt click on this alignment and I am going to align it to the center. You can see volume is at the center now, and along the y axis I will move it down minus 150. I will move it to the left by minus 150. Then I will come back into this title screen, right click, come into UI, and I am now going to add a slider. And this slider I am going to call this as volume slider, and in this volume slider I will open it, and in the background color I will select the color and select a black color and close it. Now I will select the fill area, select the fill, and in color I am going to select a green color for the fill area. And you have the handle slide area. If I open it, for the handle, you can change different type of handles here. Right now it is set to knob. I will leave it as knob only. And in color, I am going to set this to a light gray color. Then I will select my volume slider, and along the y axis, I will push it down, and along the X I will move it to the right, and along the X I will move it to 80 units, and I will select the volume text and I will move it by minus 100 units. So now it is aligned exactly to the center. Our volume slider is ready, but we have to now add the functionality. In the hierarchy, select the Game Manager game component. Here in the inspector, I will come into add component and type audio. And here you have one component called AudioSource. Add this AudioSource component to the game manager. If you come into your project panel asset course library, if you open it, you have a folder called sound. Now if this sound folder is not present, if you come to our Patreon page, you have one sound.zip file. Click on it, download it, unzip it and copy this folder to your assets folder. In this sound you have music and SFX. I will open the music channel. Now I will again come to hierarchy, select the game manager, and from the project panel music, I select any of these audio, just drag it and attach it to this audio generator. See that play on awake and also loop are enabled. This should be connected to my volume slider. I will again come into title screen, select the volume slider, and now if you scroll down, you have one option here, OnValueChanged. Click plus here. I am going to drag my game manager and attach it here. And here in the function, I will click and come into AudioSource, and I am going to select volume. I will now set the value here to 1, and I will come to file, save it. And now if I execute and check the game, you can hear the music playing now and the volume is at maximum. And now if I drag the volume, see the volume decreased. If I drag it fully, the volume is muted. Okay, now I will leave it at a default, and then whatever volume I choose here, if I start playing the game, in the same volume, the audio will keep playing. So with this, now I will stop the playback. Now the third feature that we want to add it to our Clicky Creates game is, we need to add a pause button. First I will create the user interface for this pause button. I will come into the hierarchy, and for this the best place is to use this GameOver panel. Right now it is disabled. I will select this, right click, and I am going to duplicate it, or just press Ctrl D, press F2, and I am going to call this as PauseScreen and press enter. Now I will come into inspector and I will enable this, and temporarily I will select the title screen and I will disable it. Selecting the pause screen, I will open this. I does not need this restart button. I will select it and delete it. I will come back to my pause screen. Right now in the inspector we had disabled this image. I will enable the image here, and in the color I will click here and select a black color. Come into the alpha and I will set the alpha value of 200, and then I will close this. I will come into the GameOver text, press F2, and I will call this now as pause text. Come into the text input and I will call this as pause, and in the vertex color I am going to use a white color. This will be the screen that is going to appear when you press the pause button. Now I will select this pause screen, come into the inspector, and I will disable it. I will select the title screen and I am going to enable it. Now to control this pause screen, I will come into the project panel and come into my GameManager. I will double click GameManager to open it. Now in the GameManager script, if you scroll down, we had declared all our variables here, and if you come here you can see public game object title screen was declared here, and below this I will add two forward slashes. I am going to create a variable to add reference to the pause screen, and I am going to declare a public, and again this is a game object, and I am going to call this as PauseScreen, in which P is small letter. End it with semicolon. Next press enter, add two forward slashes, create a variable to test the pause state. I will declare a private variable. This is a Boolean type variable, and I am going to call this as isPaused, and I will set its initial value to false and end it with semicolon. When it comes to input system, again, in our old input system we used to use on press or on key down, but in the new input system we are not going to use it. In the new input system, either you can come into Unity in the project. I will close this course library. I will right click here and I can create a new input action. I can just double click it, add a map, player, action, call this as pause. So I can create like this, save the asset, and I can use this. However, I will close this as of now. I am not going to save it. I select this new action, right click and delete it. Press the delete button here. I am going to declare this entire action right inside my code itself. So if you come back to the code, if you remember in our previous section, we had declared two input action, press action and position action. I will press enter and I am going to declare another private input action, and I am going to call this as pause action and end it with semicolon. When the game is loading in the awake state, I will come into private void awake, and here we had in the previous session declared press action and position action. Similar to that, after position action I will press enter twice and I will call this pause action will be equal to new input action, add open close bracket and end it with semicolon, and inside this bracket I will press enter, and first I will call the name keyword colon, and I will set its value here to pause and come out of this inverted comma, add a comma, press enter, and the second keyword I use here is type, add colon, and the type is input action type, and in this I will add period and I will call the button, comma, and finally I am going to bind this. In the binding keyword add colon and in inverted comma, inside this I will add lesser than greater than sign, and between this I will call the keyboard and I will come out of the greater than sign, add / and P, because if P is the key I am going to use to pause my game. Once I have declared my pause action, I will scroll down and in on enable, after this position action enable, I will press enter and I will call my pause action, period, and I am going to enable it, add open close bracket and end it with semicolon. And similarly, after disable, I will press enter, I will call the pause action and I will set it to disable, add open close bracket and end it with semicolon. I have to now declare a method which is going to use my P key as a toggle button, because when I press P, when it is running it should pause. If it is paused, it should start running. The button should be a toggle switch. I will scroll down in this game manager and after this update live, I will press enter twice and I am going to declare a new function void and I will call this as ChangePause and add open close bracket, press enter, add open close flower bracket, and inside this I am now going to test for a condition. If add open close bracket, I will call isPaused, and this isPaused initially will be not true, it will be set to false. When isPaused is false, I will press enter, add open close bracket, and inside this bracket I have to set my isPaused value equal to true, semicolon. Then I will call my PauseScreen, call the function setActive, add open close bracket, and inside this I will set it to true so that this PauseScreen is visible, semicolon. And finally now the game should pause. Now I have to pause my game. How are we going to pause the game? There is a function in C#, we call this time, period, I will call this time scale, and if I set this time scale value to 0 and end it with semicolon, when I set the time scale to 0, the game will immediately stop. If already the game is paused, I will press enter and I will call the else statement. I will add open close flower bracket, and inside this flower bracket, if it is paused, I will set the isPaused value to be equal to false now, semicolon. I will call this PauseScreen and I will call this setActive function, and in open close brackets, semicolon, inside this I will set this now to false. The game should start running. So I will again call this time period time scale function. I will set its value now to 1. So when I set it to 1, the game will start running. I will end it with semicolon. I have this ChangePause function here. To detect the actual key press, after this change password function, I will press enter twice. I will declare another void function and I will call this as HandlePause, add open close bracket, press enter, add open close flower bracket, and inside this I will call for a condition if, and inside this I am now going to call my pause action, period, was pressed this frame. I will add open close bracket, I will press enter, add open close flower bracket. If it is pressed, then I am going to call my ChangePause function, add open close bracket and end it with semicolon. When the user presses the P button, then this ChangePause function will be called through this HandlePause. And this HandlePause has to be tested for every frame. So I will come up here into the update function. You have void update. And inside this void update now, I will press enter and I am going to call this handle pause, add open close bracket and end it with semicolon. Now I will go to file and save my GameManager script. Come back to Unity, allow the script to get compiled. Select the GameManager and here you have a new parameter PauseScreen and I have to attach the game object here. So in the UI canvas, you have this PauseScreen which is disabled. I will drag it and attach it here. If I come into file, save it, and if I execute the game and if I check it, see now it is playing. I will reduce the background music. I will press any of the mode here. I have pressed medium, and as the game is continuing, if I press P, see the game is paused. If I press P again, the game continues. If I press P again, the game is paused. So now I will stop the playback. With this, we have incorporated all these 3 challenges. We have successfully completed updating this game. And with this, let us end this session. And in the next session, we are going to address another complicated challenge.